Hello and welcome to this moment today. I'm super excited to have Rich Trapp on here to talk about diving in with CBD. Like let's hear your story about how now you have this amazing CBD product and yeah, just take us a little bit on your journey.
Awesome. So good to be here. Thanks for having me. You know, uh, f- Friends of mine started this pretty organically. We've been in this kind of space for a long time, from the flower side back in the day when it was a little more dangerous and explicit. Well, now I worked at a bong shop called Galaxy Gallery on Melrose way back in the day. So, we were there at the beginning of the medical marijuana movement with Todd McCormick. And, you'd go to a party and Woody Harrelson would be there. And, it was a very exciting time. And at that time, people had these jars of this really dark oil, and there were stories about how, when they talk about anointing the head in the Bible, that's what they were using is oil extracted from the hemp plant. And so, we knew about homeopathic remedies like this for years and years and years. And there were tales of kind of miracles happening from it, but it was very murky. And it was also at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of we were young and wanted to have fun. And, herb was a spiritual kind of entrance into that. But the medicinal part of it was interesting, but kind of not on the radar. So fast forward, everyone's gotten older. Everyone's a little more into sustainable fitness and sustainable lifestyle. And so, a friend of ours who used to have a green thumb started turning his attention in about 2015, 2016 to the CBD world. Now, part of the problem was for him that he had trouble sleeping, and he also didn't like the super oily feeling that he got from the tinctures, because all the tinctures, a lot of them have gotten better tasting over the years, but it's still pretty intense if you don't like that. So what he did was he wanted to convert it into a spray, into something, we used to have something called Banaka back in the day. I don't know if that's still around, a little breath Banaka blast. In order to turn that into a spray, it's very difficult to get an oil-based product to spritz like that. So then he had to take that CBD and put it into a water base. That formulation turned into a nano spray, because it turns out if you take it one step further, and you know how you shake up a bottle of salad dressing and it turns from a heterogeneous mixture with all of the different layers into a homogeneous mixture. Everything is now mixed together. We took that and we amplified it to the next level, to where you shake something up, enough, and it shakes up into these tiny little particles that then don't ever separate again. They're now nanotized. And so it turned out that inadvertently, because we just wanted an easy spray, we found the best delivery system possible, the most efficient delivery system possible. Now, there's a word called bioavailability. And when they first told me that, I was like, that's a lot of syllables. And the analogy that they gave was, when you're taking a tincture, a dropper, or say a gummy, any way that you drop that, when people say, swish it through your mouth, you could hold that under your tongue for 20 minutes. It doesn't matter. Those particles aren't small enough to be absorbed sublingually. They're just not. Now, what happens is it processes through your body, through your liver, and about 2 hours later, what started as 10 milligrams ends up with about 3 to 4. So our sprays, our nano sprays, because they're absorbed sublingually, you spray it into your mouth, 85 to 95% of the product goes into your bloodstream fairly quickly, almost instantly. 10 milligrams is 10 milligrams. So you don't lose anything through the digestive process. What's very interesting is that lately there's a lot of Western medicine that's very interested in reducing inflammation without going through the digestive system, whether that's people with lower GI problems or dentistry, anything where you don't want to process anything through the stomach. They're very interested in this nano spray now, and they're just starting to catch up with us in terms of having that hemp medicine be available and not stigmatized. So, all of that kind of science stuff turns into this little sleep spray, which was our beginning product, that if you took melatonin, say you took anything above 5 milligrams, you just got knocked out. And you only got knocked out for about, 5-6 hours. If you took too much, you'd go, way over the ideal time, 10 hours of sleep, whatever, and you'd always wake up groggy. So we took melatonin, valerian, and L-theanine and combined that with hemp-derived CBD. Now, our CBD comes from one source. It's one farm up in Oregon where this family has been growing for 5 generations. Same family, same land. They can tell you 50 miles around there what's been planted, and 10 feet deep for the last 80 years, whatever it is. So that combination now becomes a microdose. So what was before, you'd take one of those. You would either take some valerian, take some melatonin. People aren't that familiar with L-theanine. I wasn't either. But what we do is 3 to 4 sprays of our sleep spray takes little micro doses of each of those, about 3 or 4 milligrams each. And that's all you need. It's a magic thing. So now you're getting twice as much for half the cost. We just reduced our little spray down from, it was $31.95 down to $26. Everybody else across the planet is raising their prices. And we reduced ours down because we keep everything in-house and we keep it pretty local. So we're like, why don't we do the opposite of what the greedy people are doing out there? So that formula, every single response that I've gotten from people adds up cumulatively to how I tell the story. I go the opposite of the snake oil salesman, where they go, this is exactly what this does, and it's a miracle, and it's this and it's that. I say, I have no idea how it's going to work in your body. Just like sending you the products, I go, you tell me. I don't know. It could be good. It could do nothing. I have no idea. A majority of the people who have sleep problems, which is, statistically about 60% of the world, I think it's more around 80%. A lot of people have trouble sleeping. They not only have trouble falling asleep, they have trouble staying asleep. And that's what this product solves. But the bigger picture is that we are helping to solve a problem, and we're helping to solve it in a natural way, where you're not inundating your system with, NyQuil or, something, all these chemicals that have all these residual effects. All of the white paper studies that they've done on CBD, and I believe they've done a couple in Israel and a couple in England. I don't think they're testing on human beings in the United States yet. They might be, I don't know. But the ones that we have read, when you dig down through all the science speak and all the biology and all that stuff, what it really comes down to is that CBD helps with inflammation. Now, the thing that hooked me into the whole thing was I heard about some kids that were having these seizures, grand mal seizures, sometimes hundreds of times a day. It's a very specific form of epilepsy. I forget the name of it. But then the government said, we're going to approve CBD in one delivery system only, and that's a Pidiolex. And what they do is they inundate the kid's body with a massive amount of CBD isolate. And just in that specific case, kids that were on 17 types of different medications whose lives were, horribly interrupted, sometimes several hundred times a day from seizures, suddenly, just from CBD isolate, nothing else in the spectrum, just the isolate, it went away. The seizures stopped. And, I don't know anything else about the science but that at the time, and that hooked me. I was like, that's incredible. I've never heard of anything like that. And it also seemed to me to be empirically the tip of a very large iceberg, where if it can help with that, maybe it can help with other things. And the white papers describe basically that inflammation is at the root of a majority of our problems, right? It is the root cause of disease and of a lot of our physical and mental afflictions, probably emotional as well. And CBD helps to mitigate inflammation. It literally helps at a cellular level your body to become less inflamed, which at a certain point helps you do whatever your body wants you to do, you know? And that's the most amazing thing about it, is people with a lot more, you know, smarts about this stuff can describe what the endocannabinoid system does. The CBG1, the CB2, all of the different systems, they're kind of separated into kind of spine, skin stuff and organ stuff. But basically, it just helps your body do what it wants to do naturally. Now, we started coming up with a few more formulations. We took the isolate and a few terpenes and made our little balance formula, which again it's little, it's minty, it's nano, it's fast. And, you know, we had a person tell us just the other day, she's a mom, runs around a lot, and she says it takes the edge off, you know. Great, if that's what it does for you. And again, we're not going after the people that want to put 50 milligrams of intense CBD into their body. That's not our lane, you know. We're cute, we're little, we're spritzy, it smells good, it tastes good. And the amazing thing about, you know, the whole world of CBD is that there's very little knowledge about how much it takes to actually do what it needs to do. And if you look at a graph, after about 10 milligrams, between 10 and 50, unless it's a kid with you know, seizures that needs 100 milligrams, I have no idea about that science. But between 10 and 50 is not a huge window of what it actually does. Below 10, it does everything it needs to do up to, I'm just saying the number 10 arbitrarily, it's something around there. After that, your body goes, I'm cool, I don't need any more, and flushes it out, just like vitamin C. You know, you can take 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C, but you're probably only going to need, you know, a quarter of that, if that, you know. And again, obviously not a scientist, not quoting any good numbers here. But that's the amazing part to me, is that this little teeny thing can do such huge things in our body, and it doesn't take much. And so part of my job is to find people anecdotally to tell our story, to say, listen, I had problems with my elbow, I rubbed some of your balm on my elbow, and now it feels better. That's it. You know, all of the science stuff is very interesting. And if people want to, you know, dive deeper into that, we can dive deeper into that. Because when it comes down to it, you know, the microdose is our ideal spot to be in. We want to sit right there. Everybody else is trying to crank up the numbers. And, you know, what's really funny is you know, they came out with a thing, the quarter pounder, you know, McDonald's, and they came out with the third pounder. And because Americans weren't great at math, they thought the quarter pounder, they go, no, not the third pounder, we want the quarter pounder. And you go, the third pounder is more. They go, no, I don't want to do the math. Same thing with milligrams. You know, if you have a you know, 5,000 milligram container of you know, biofreeze like, you know, CBD lotion, there's only so much that can actually fit in the surface area of that thing, you know. So we have a 500 milligram little 1 ounce little roll-on. That's all you need. A little goes a long way. If you want the big one, fine. If you want to wrap your head around the math, we can break that down. But we see the future of everything coming down, getting regulated, you know, as it may be in the future. And we sit on the side of, we're small, you know, we are covered. You know, if anyone is interested, I'll send you our COAs, you know, all of our numbers and the heavy metals or lack thereof. And we keep it small batch in-house, and it's family run. You know, my partner and the founder, Ryan Roca, and I have been working together for friends and working together for 20 plus years. Everybody else in the company, I mean, since the pandemic, it's shrunk down to this, you know what I mean? I wear like 11 different hats. I'm not the sales guy, but I'm the sales guy, you know? I'm not the podcast guy, but I'm the podcast guy, which is great. You know, it's fun. This is, you know, and again, thank you for having me. So, you know, that's us in a nutshell. What turned from 2 different SKUs, the sleep and the balance. Then we came out with a relief spray, which has glucosamine and turmeric in it. It's really like kind of turmeric-y. It's orange, it's intense, helps with joint stuff, maybe some pain relief before, during, and after a workout. We have a PMS spray, which is very interesting. We came up with that after, you know, some women who were related to us and then working for us said, you know, we use some of these homeopathic things already. Do you think CBD would help? We go, let's look into it. So we came up with chasteberry, which, you know, I just did some stories yesterday on our Instagram page where a friend of ours, Nina, describes what chasteberry does way better than I could. But basically it helps regulate the hormone imbalance that women have during just before, during, and after the cycle. So chasteberry, magnesium, B6, all of these kind of homeopathic things that normally, you know, assist during a cycle, coupled with the CBD, again, amplify all of those things and turn into kind of a little, you know, miracle spray for some people. And some women have described that combined with our little salve, like on their actual cramp area, wherever on the abdomen, really helps. And then our final one is what's called our play spray. It's got horny goatweed. It's got cordyceps, which is the little mushrooms. It's like all the hip companies, the Four Sigmatic and all the like lion's mane. Cordyceps is like the one. It's got yohimbe bark. All of this was designed for the bedroom. We go, it helps with, you know, we're not even gonna get that explicit. It helps you do what you want to do to play. And what's really interesting is some people go, oh, play. They didn't know what it was, and they take it and went and played tennis. And they're like, we love it. And you're like, oh, okay. If that's what play means to you. So now we just did this whole event with this team called Live Ball. They do 2-on-2 on 4 different courts, tennis, and everybody rotates. It's like point, 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 you're out. And like a DJ, super fun. So we sponsored that event and gave everyone play sprays, and they sprayed it, and like now they love it. So that's our spray thing. And then the rest is our topicals. We came up with a really nice topical balm that's like in the traditional thing where you scoop it out. That helps everything from like a mountain biker, Amy Moe, who's on our Instagram, with cuts and scrapes and bruises, to the abdomen thing, which I've heard, another, and this is all, again, anecdotal from people, and you can, there's the little buttons on our Instagram, you can see the stories. And then the gel roll-on, which if you don't want to scoop it out with your hand, is just a nice little thing. And it all smells really good. And again, topically, like, I don't know, does it do anything? Like, it's really hard for CBD to get into your body through the skin. That is the least kind of accessible delivery system. But again, it seems to help if you put it with a bunch of these other ingredients, and it smells good. It feels good and it smells good. So does it cure arthritis? Probably not. But does it help you feel better? I don't know. A lot of people say it does, right? So that's our relief ones. We also have a balm stick line, the balance one, which is just kind of through the day. We have a friend who's a bartender at Hatchet Hall who keeps the balance balm stick. And when people are super annoying, she just rubs it, you know, on the little parts and just kind of goes, okay. And it helps. And then our sleep. So if you don't want to spray something, our sleep balm stick, same thing. You just kind of rub it as like a ritual. That's what my mom does. She doesn't want to do a spray, so she does that. And then essential oil roll-ons. We have 3 of those, the sleep, balance, and relief. You know, that's our products. But what we really, again, are interested in is, you know, we've had all of these like pay to play things where people are like, if you give us X, you know, we'll get you all of this attention on Instagram, and if you buy this, and what we've learned is that we're really not interested in that kind of like blast out. What we want to do is spread the story very organically, very slowly. And, you know, if we can help people, we want to help people. And that's the bottom line. And again, to kind of err on the side of like keeping it a little more low key and letting the people who use it tell the story more than me. So that's kind of the basis of everything right there.
Wow, it's so amazing to just hear the background, you know, because when I so like how I even found out about you is like literally just like enter my name, like don't even expect to win, you know, then poof, like here I am, never heard of the products. And I've used CBD before, and it was like,
Yeah.
and I've also used THC, right? And so like thinking that they could be the same, or you know, like I wasn't really sure. Like a lot of times I've used CBD products and like I didn't necessarily feel anything, you know.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
like when I used yours, like, and now kind of hearing the story of like what you've really intentionally done, you know, like you've really allowed the plant to talk to the body. Like you can tell
Yeah.
with the love that you put into it, like really catering it in, like, because that's what I experienced. Like I was like, oh wow, like I don't have sleep problems, but like okay, I got some really good sleep, you know. And like even like the play and the balance, you know, like it just
Yeah.
allowed my body to, you know, already, because our bodies are healers, right? And so when we
Yeah.
use these plants as medicine, like they really can help facilitate like more recovery, right? More of
Yeah.
these like ways of just letting it out. So it's so cool that you're like, I mean, it really is true. Like, you know, when we're speaking to the plants, when we're really pouring our energy, right? Like we're allowing that to radiate out. And so, like,
Yeah.
just to know that, you know, this little company is doing so many big things, you know, because
Yeah.
every person that you are touching and that is getting to experience your products, like they are now opening up to more potential in their body, and it's just
Yeah.
amazing to witness that. So
That's
wow.
beautiful. I'm glad you're recording this because you just said a lot of really good things that I'm going to borrow shamelessly, if you don't mind. No, that's
Please
great. Yeah.
borrow away. I mean, you know, we're all here to help one another, right? And so
Yeah.
like to be able to, because for me, like my plant medicine journey, like was so that I could get off of pills, you know. I mean, and pills
Yeah.
was really something that I was addicted to, but also like it doesn't really help you, right? It like turns that pain receptor off, and then it
Right.
doesn't allow the body to actually facilitate the healing. Like I mean, for me having 7 hip surgeries, like
Oh
they
my
told
gosh.
me I would need like a hip replacement by the time I was 30. And it's
Yep.
like finding these plants and really seeing like how we have been given this
Yeah.
medicine, you know, to
Yeah.
really heal. And because we're not aware of it, right? Because we've kind of spent thousands of years like not, you know, knowing this or ignoring it, like I feel like
Yeah.
now is that time for, you know, us to really realize like what gifts that what resources that we have on the planet, so that we can then really heal ourselves, you know, and
Yeah.
create dis-ease, right? Because we've been like creating all this resistance and all these pills and all these chemicals and things in our
Yeah.
bodies. And now it's like our bodies are like, oh my gosh, like I need, you know, help. And so like
Yeah.
this, like what it is that you're doing is more than, you know, even this little thing, right? I mean, you're
Yeah.
planting these seeds that are going to go down in history for generations. Like I just
Well,
feel it, you know.
yeah, well, it's so cool to hear too firsthand and a little more in depth. You know, I've heard it from, you know, we used to have a shop in Santa Monica, so I would hear it from random people, but to hear it from you, who, you know, we haven't really discussed this before, and just to hear it firsthand is like, that to me makes it all worthwhile. You know, my personal journey is one of, you know, recovery, and like, and you know, when I ended up in the hospital years ago from just, you know, years of doing a lot of abuse to my body. And when I got out of the ICU, you know, part of what they did is they said, you know, because of your blood pressure, because of your cholesterol, because of this, because of that, like they wanted to put me on like 4 different things. And, you know, back in the day when I was like super healthy and like wheatgrass and that, you know, I kind of let myself go and then ended up in the hospital, but I knew how to do it. I knew how to do it in a healthy way. And I refused all of the medicine. And like, you know, what was like blood pressure, like hypertension, I ate my way out of that. Cholesterol, ate my way in a good way, you know, just by using, you know, food as medicine. And so to hear you say that you've done the same thing with plant medicine, it makes it all worth it, especially in today's environment where pharmaceuticals and all of that, and you know, people are, you know, they're dropping like flies. And you know, if there's any way at all to even, like you said, plant those little seeds just a little bit, you know, here and there. I don't think I don't think we have to save the world, but I think one by one those little seeds really has a ripple effect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And just like, and knowing that, right? Like these stories of like there's possibility, you know, like even for me, like when the doctor told me that I would be on medication at like 25 years old for the rest of my life, I was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't really believe that, you know, and it's that questioning my reality
There you
that
go.
led me down, you know, a different path. So like all of us have questioned our reality so that we can create a world that is more sustainable, that is more loving, that is more like nourishing for our bodies, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. That's a beautiful way to put it. And, you know, what I love too about, you know, being able to communicate where this all comes from, you know, we have been in the back end of a lot of these processes with a lot of like the big companies, you know, we know where a lot of this stuff comes from. And a lot of the base product, the actual CBD, you probably don't want to know where it comes from because it's not, you know, it's pretty industrial sources that now get kind of wrapped up in a bow and sold to the public. And I'm not saying that they're all bad actors. They're just, there's a lot of volume that has to happen. And for us to say, you know, we could, if we all wanted to like go on a road trip and go up to Derek's farm, you know, we could go and see where they grow this stuff, you know, and like that means a lot to us to know exactly where it comes from. You know, we process it all in-house down here in Southern California. You know, only a few hands touch it. It's all small batch. I mean, who knows? We're gonna have to scale up if this podcast blows up, but you know, we'll tackle that when we get there. Yeah, it's important. It really is.
Yeah, I love it so much. And so where can everyone find you? Like, because after this, they're gonna be like, okay, like I got sleep issues, like I got
Yeah, totally.
inflammation, like let me,
Yeah,
you know, check this out and see like how
yeah,
I can yeah, find it.
yeah. So, where are you? Where are you located?
So currently I'm in Maryland, but I say
Oh,
that
yeah,
I'm an earth because basically I'm kind of wherever I'm needed as the energy
great.
kind of flows. So
I
in
love
this
that.
moment in time, I'm needed in Maryland and
Great.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
So, you know, we're in stores all over the United States, from, you know, Erewhon here in Los Angeles to, you know, we're in a place called Comeback Daily in New York. We're in a place called Apothecary ATL in Atlanta. So we're in a lot of really cool alternative in Miami, which is really a really cool little spot. Um, so we're in a lot of places, and that's all on our website. But you know, ordering directly from us is the easiest way, and it's nubloombotanicals.com. And also on Instagram, you've seen how accessible I am. I mean, it's still such a small operation that literally, if you go to @nubloombotanicals on Instagram and DM me, like I'll hit you back right away. And I'm totally down to do that, to answer any questions, to help with a little promo code if you need it. But you know, just going to our website, it's super easy. PayPal, checkout, super easy, and it all kind of it kind of keeps it all, you know, right in our backyard, which we really like.
I love it. And I'll tag all that in the notes so that
Great,
everyone can get to it and
awesome.
Yeah. So, oh, this has been such an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for jumping in and yeah, being with us in this moment.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This has been magical.
Oh, yes. All right. Toodles. Bye for
All right.
now.
Later.